contractor with Owens Corning and Till.
Live regional radar. All right, folks. So if you're just now tuning in with us on Facebook Live, tornado warning in effect for Tarrant County. This includes the city of Fort Worth, the city of Arlington, and the city of North Richland Hills. It's approaching Irving. It's approaching Dallas and Carrollton. Although Dallas County is not in the warning at this time, you need to be paying very close attention. National Weather Service is saying that this is a is this the one that they're saying is confirmed? We're getting a lot of information right now. Yeah, confirmed tornado is on the ground in the community of River Oaks. And this is until 8:45. Okay, so we're sending out this alert. I apologize, we're running all over the place, but we got to get this information out on our app for viewers. We got to get this information out just so we can, help anyone that we can in the path of this storm. Confirmed tornado on the ground. National Weather Service is saying areas in the path of the storm need to seek immediate shelter. Again, a confirmed tornado is on the ground in portions of Tarrant County right over the community of Fort Worth. The National Weather Service is saying that the tornado was located over River Oaks, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So if you are in the community of Arlington, if you're in Fort Worth, if you're in North Richland Hills, I'm in my safe place right now. This is a dangerous storm. In fact, let's actually look, since this is really close to the radar site, where they're seeing this at. And there it is, right there in the corner. Yeah, that looks to be strong rotation right there. So River Oaks, we have this going on. It's right now located over the community of River Oaks, moving east at 30. Melody Hills, Haltom City, River Oaks. Make sure you are in your shelter right now. Again, a confirmed tornado was reported by the National Weather Service. Also making sure that these streams are working on all of our sites. Let's see. Also trying to see if there's any sort of reports. We're getting a bunch of information. National Weather Service is tweeting right now, Saginaw, Blue Mound, North Fort Worth, and Haltom City needs to be sheltering. So, again, that's their words, not ours, but we do agree with them. You need to be in shelter right now. This is a very serious situation because this is in a very populated portion of the Metroplex. There is a confirmed tornado actively on the ground, and we're seeing, like we said, confirmed tornado on the ground. In, unfortunately, a very, very populated area in the Metroplex, and this is confirmed by the National Weather Service. And we do have a fairly sizable debris ball with this over the community of River Oaks. So, again, if I'm in River Oaks, I'm in shelter right now. East Lake Worth, you're out of time. It's already over you. We're seeing already radar indications of damage with this debris ball. Melody Hills, Haltom City, North Richland Hills, and Watauga. You need to be in your shelter. Same with Hearst. This is a confirmed tornado. That's an update for the severe thunderstorm warning in Hood County, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So looking off to the side, we're reading off. So behind the scenes, if we get quiet, we have some family in this area. We're going to text real quick. We have the alerts on our apps, but we're also looking. We have a National Weather Service chat bot that gives us the latest information here. So whenever a new update comes in, we let us know. In fact, let's actually zoom out and show you where this is going. So if I'm in Haltom City, Watauga, Bedford, Haltom City, North Richland Hills, any of these communities, North Fort Worth, even portions of southern Saginaw, I'm going to be in shelter. Again, dangerous tornado, large debris ball right here, just to the east of Lake Worth, where we're seeing that rotation. So confirmed tornado still ongoing. And unfortunately, folks, there's a lot of people that are commuting right now. If you can, if you're on the road, pull over, find a convenience store, and shelter inside. Just updating a family member that was asking in that area. But yeah, if I'd pull over, find a convenience store, shelter in there. Make sure that if you're in this area, you're sheltering on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. That's an interior closet or bathroom. First floor, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Bring your pets with you. Cover yourself with pillows, blankets, and make sure that if you have any sort of protective equipment, you're putting that on as well. So that's a new update for another severe thunderstorm warning. So we're getting new updates, trying to kind of see. We keep getting these alerts off to the side, trying to see if there's any new information. Also, we're scanning through Twitter to see if anyone has seen this tornado. But please do not be outside trying to look at this. You're probably not going to see it. This is most likely rain wrapped. So wait till the storm passes. Don't go outside trying to see this thing. So we have that going on. Again, huge morning activity-wise. We've had activity across all of the western portions of North Texas this morning. We've been going since about 4 o'clock this morning. But pretty sizable debris ball still ongoing near Lake Worth. And we don't say these things to terrify you or to create unnecessary fear. Folks, when we have a tornado on the ground in a highly populated area, we need to use strong wording just to make sure that people are aware that there's a tornado creating damage, and there's people that may not think that they have to seek shelter because it may not hit them. This is one of those mornings that we get these storms. They've been turning a little bit more to the north, and then they quickly strengthen up, and then they create damage in areas. We've already seen damage over near the Granbury area. There was a few reports of damage. Decatur, there was a potential stronger tornado that caused some significant damage up there. We've had wind damage across western North Texas all morning. This is just one of those active mornings that every single warning, you need to be treating it as if it was on the ground, because these things they spin up real quick, they create damage, and then they kind of go away. But this one has been pretty consistent, almost like the Decatur one. This one has not just spun up and become strong and then kind of died off. This one's still with us. And the other thing with it is looking at this debris signature. We load in, I think we're missing a few scans. There we go. Notice how the debris ball has been in a small circle and not just expanded. I was talking about this in our coverage just a little bit ago. When you usually get these areas of debris in a very small location, think of gravity. Gravity is pulling everything towards its center. When you have a tornado, it's doing the same thing. It's pulling that debris closer to the center and shooting it up, but it's not throwing it outside of the tornado. It's keeping it close to its center. When you start to see the tornado weaken is when you'll start to see this debris kind of expand and shoot out. That might have been what we saw the last couple scans, but given that it was small here and it's still a little bit small here, it may still be occurring on the ground. So the signature is not as strong as it was a little bit ago. So given that, we're still going to be using a word of caution with this. Even if it's weakening, you still need to be in shelter in Melody Hills, North Richland Hills, Watauga, and Haltom City. If it doesn't look that impressive, that doesn't mean it's not still on the ground. It still could be on the ground. We've seen that debris signature with it. And it also could mean that it's recycling. We've seen this all morning. A storm will weaken, and then all of a sudden it shoots back up. We've been watching that, especially with this storm, over the past little bit. So at least the northern side of the storm that was warned just a little bit ago. So we're looking at this, keeping a very close eye on it. Again, Colleyville, Minster's Chapel, Euless, North Richland Hills, Haltom City, please all be heeding this warning and taking it very seriously. Even if it doesn't look like it was as strong as it was just a little bit, does not mean it's not still on the ground, does not mean it's not still causing damage or recycling. So in these areas, I am definitely seeking shelter because there is still a fairly considerable threat. Zooming out just to show you what's going on, we have this confirmed tornado in Tarrant County. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see, I'll zoom in, I think Sansom Park got hit pretty well given the debris signature. So unfortunately for that area, may continue to start seeing damage reports out of there. Unfortunately, but right now the only tornado warned storm is this one in Fort Worth. Let's go to the velocity tools and show you the rest of these storms are pretty strong just wind wise. In fact, some of the gusts down here we're seeing are close to 65 miles an hour with that ball of wind just to the west of Joshua. The warning says 60, but I'm going to use a little bit more. I'm going to say it's a little bit higher than that given the radar signature, especially so close to the radar. 65 plus mile per hour winds possible near Godley and the community of Joshua. So here we're going back up to the north, back up to this tornado warned storm. When was that? That was 8:15, so that's an old report. All right, so Melody Hills, still seeing those reds and those greens coming together. Still watching that very closely. There still could be a tornado either on the ground or recycling. Like we said, we've used this word recycling. That's because we see these storms, and now that it's more of a line, we'll have to see. But these storms, all morning, they've been pulsating up real quick. They create damage, and then all of a sudden they kind of die off. They'll sit around for a little bit, and then they'll do the exact same thing. It's been doing that over and over. We've seen that with a handful of warnings all morning. So be alert. This is in a very populated area of DFW. The current rotation right now is right at Highway 35 West and 820. It's to the north of, I think that's Meckham Road, and it's just to the south of Watauga Road and right along North Beach Street and just to the west of that. So we have this going on in North Texas. Also looking off to the side for any sort of new reports coming in. Fortunately, not seeing those right now. In fact, I'm actually going to go back to our debris tracker real quick and see what that is still seeing. And if there's still a signature there. Might still be a little bit of a signature, but can't quite tell. It's sloppy right here. Where you see this little ring to the south, that is called the cone of silence. That's where the radar picks up ground clutter and is not a good representation. In fact, when storms are that close to it, they don't get a good reading. But this is fairly close to the radar site, so not quite sure if that's still debris signature or not, but still need to be treating it as if it was. In fact, I'm actually going to go to a different radar site. I'm going to go to the Dallas Terminal Doppler site and see what this still says. This one is located near the community of Las Colinas. And let's see what that one is saying. In fact, that one still shows a fairly decent signature over Watauga. So I tell you what, even though it may not look as strong as it was just a little bit ago, if I'm in Watauga, I'm seeking shelter still. This looks like a fairly considerable rotation area still at this time. Let's put this back into motion and see what it looked like just a little bit ago when it was creating damage. Yeah, and this site picked it up pretty good too. Looks like there was a fairly noticeable tornado signature, but at this time it looks like it's weaker than it was. So potentially recycling, keeping up to date with this just because it is in the Metroplex. Also, remember, make sure that you download the free Weather 225 mobile app. We're sending out push notification alerts with the latest information. We'll let you know of updates also here in the live channel. You can view live radar that you can interact with yourself on the app as well. Make sure that you download that today. Apple App Store, Google Play. Just a quick, to let you know, download that as well for the latest information too. Especially if you're watching from our social media pages, we haven't been posting as many severe weather alerts on the social media just because we have the app platform. And it's a lot for me going back and forth between these live broadcasts and social media and the app alerts and just all sorts of stuff like that. So all the alerts are condensed onto the app and these live broadcasts. So we got this going on here. Excuse me. So we have this storm. I'm going to go back to the Fort Worth site real quick, actually. Take a look at this. And I do think, in addition to this one, the winds are tremendous with this storm just south of Crawley. We're talking up to almost 67 miles an hour sampling this close to the radar site. So I think that this is pretty significant winds just to the south of the community of Crawley and to the north of the community of Joshua at this point in time. In fact, the National Weather Service actually just updated that to even higher than what I was saying. They're projecting 70 mile per hour winds, and they're actually saying that the damage threat is considerable with this. So this is a dangerous, severe thunderstorm warning with it too. So considerable damage threat in portions of Johnson County. This is for the community of Joshua, south of Crawley, west of Leland. 70 mile per hour winds are possible with this. So even though there's no tornado warning with this, you're going to want to stay away from doors and windows in this area. That's pretty strong winds. 70 mile per hour winds, especially if you get a widespread area of it, can cause just as much damage as a weak tornado. So keeping an eye on that. All right, so a few things to note. That rotation to the north is still there, but as I say that, there's almost a second area that looks like it's forming over downtown Fort Worth. And I say that right here, we're starting to see those reds and greens, and it's very close to the radar site. National Weather Service is saying they believe that the tornado has lifted with that northern side, but just given with how quickly these things kind of develop, they show up for a split second and then they quickly strengthen back up. If I'm in downtown Fort Worth, I'm watching this very carefully because there might be another area trying to get its act together over Fort Worth. In fact, I'm going to actually look and see if we have a camera in Fort Worth. I know we have a camera in Dallas, so if anything happens, we're going to go immediately to that one in Dallas once these finally make their way into the area. But I'm not sure if we have one in Fort Worth, because if there's one in Fort Worth, this might actually see that area that we're talking about. Getting some TxDOT cameras. We have a Stockyards camera. I don't know if we can pull it up, though. It's temporarily offline. So we don't have a camera in Fort Worth right now to look at that. But again, I'm keeping an eye on that one right over Fort Worth, where we're seeing those greens and reds coming together. Let's see if it's on the relative velocity too. Not as apparent on there, but just something to watch here, just to be on the side of caution. So again, North Richland Hills will turn back to that storm real quick. Not as strong as it was, but still over Watauga. There's rotation there. It's making its way closer to the North Richland Hills community. Tornado warning continues for Tarrant County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over North Richland Hills. So this storm is right now over North Richland Hills. They're keeping that tornado warning until 8:45, so they've extended it. So keeping that in mind, that one is still going. It's still affecting portions of the Metroplex at this time. So, like we said, going to watch this one very carefully, as it has had a history of producing damage. But we're also keeping a close eye on this one just over the Fort Worth area, where we're seeing those reds and greens coming together. Just because all morning, like we said, we've had these little areas, they look like nothing, and then all of a sudden they kind of just pulse right up, and then you get kind of a surprise area, a surprise warning with that. So keeping an eye on those. No immediate tornado threat in downtown Fort Worth, but just given what has happened all morning, we're watching that very carefully. But if you're in North Richland Hills, make sure you're in shelter. Again, the Weather Service believes that this may have lifted, but that doesn't mean that it's not trying to make its way to the ground again. I think it could be recycling, so we're watching that very carefully over the next little bit. This one has had a history of producing damage over near the Lake Worth and unfortunately Sansom Park area just a short time ago. So that's what we've got going on here again. Tornado warning. It's not confirmed anymore, so this box is a little bit outdated. It should just be solid red. But again, North Richland Hills is where that tornado would be located. So also, we're looking at the chats on YouTube. We're looking at the chats on Facebook. So let us know if there's any sort of reports in these areas or any comments or questions. So we're taking a very close look at a million things behind the scenes too, as well as reports, and also trying to scroll through social media and see if anyone has any sort of reports on Twitter or images of any of these tornadoes in the Tarrant County area just a short time ago. Again, there was a pretty sizable debris ball with that. Someone may have had a picture of that tornado in the Weatherford area just a short time ago. Seen that off to the side. And you know what? Off to the side, still watching this one in the immediate Fort Worth area. It's not an immediate tornado threat, but we're still keeping an eye on that one. But I want to go up to the north. There's another concerning area that has just kind of popped up near Denton. And while it's not the most impressive, we're seeing this arching feature near Corneth. And I do believe that's right where I-35 west and east kind of merge. Just to the east, that's to the southeast of the UNT area, I believe. So, let's see. Yeah, so that's another area that we're going to be watching here for another potential intensification. Colleyville is sounding their sirens right now. Their police department has posted that they're activating their outdoor warning sirens. Southlake is sounding their outdoor sirens as well. Southlake is not in the warning, but their outdoor warning sirens are sounding. So if you're in like the downtown Southlake area and you're wondering why you're hearing sirens, immediate warning is to your south. Here's Southlake. It's south of Grapevine too. But so no warning there, but your sirens are sounding, and we're going to go ahead and retweet some of these if you're following along with our Twitter or anything like that, just to let you know what communities are sounding their sirens right now. So got a lot going on, like we said. Hearst is sounding their sirens as well. Is Mesquite? No, Mesquite posted something else, not weather related. So, all right. So we have a couple areas of rotation still. Watching that one near North Richland Hills, there might be one trying to kind of get its act together closer to Southlake, where we're seeing those green and orange In fact, we'll have to be watching that one carefully as well. So outside of the warning, there's this one in North Richland Hills, but it almost looks like the main circulation may have just shifted to the north of Colleyville, where these brighter greens are located near Grapevine. So we're watching that. Let's take a look at our chat real quick, see if anything new has come in from the National Weather Service. Okay, so good news. The tornado warning in Tarrant County has been allowed to expire. So this one is outside of the warning area. We're watching this. No tornado warnings in the Metroplex at this time, which is good news. Oh, wow. Seen video now of that tornado earlier in Decatur. Unfortunately, it looks like that was a fairly sizable tornado earlier this morning. Our thoughts and prayers are with all those who were affected. Again, there was some pretty major damage out there too. Unfortunately, it also looks like we have some damage near the Lake Worth area this morning from this storm. So we're keeping an eye on all these damage reports. We'll let you know the latest with these. So okay, so we just retweeted a video. There is clear video of that tornado near the White Settlement area earlier. So we have a confirmation of a tornado both from video and radar indications this morning as well. So very active morning. So keeping up to date with all these reports and the latest information. So all right, so outside of this tornado warning, there is this bright area of wind showing up with velocities. There's some rotation with it. It's not significant quite yet. We're keeping a close eye on that. Heads up to Grapevine, Keller, and even South Lake. No warnings with it yet, but it's just something to watch. But given that there are no warnings right now, we're going to just kind of do a broader view real quick and also check our social media and also check and see if anyone in the chat has any sort of reports or if anyone has any sort of questions or anything like that. So let me boot up our chat real quick and see. All right, posting a quick update. There are no tornado warnings as of 8:42, but please do not let your guard down this morning. So chat is booted up. We're looking at our YouTube real quick. Doesn't look like there's any sort of reports there. Seeing a fairly good turnout. Thank you for tuning in. Like we said, no tornado warnings right now. Okay, so we have a few. So a few comments. One's asking about Fossil Creek. Not quite sure. Is Fossil Creek a neighborhood? I know there's like a community kind of north of Fort Worth. If so, right now it just looks like 60-mile-per-hour winds in that area. Let me know if that's like let me know if I got that location right. So for Cooper, let's look at that here as well. So for Cooper, Texas, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to remember if that's in our. Yeah, that's like the last county in our coverage area. So for Cooper right now, fortunately, you don't have any sort of watches right now, but that's going to probably change. The storms are going to eventually move further to the east into a better environment. Right now, they're a solid line, but the better risk is for areas further east of even that area. There could be a pretty significant severe weather episode near the Shreveport area, but as these storms march east, I think there could be an additional watch out for that area in just a little bit. But right now, no storms for you, but give it the next 1 to 2 hours, this line of storms will eventually march its way into the Cooper area. But before then, you could get some pre-line isolated elevated showers and storms this morning. So this morning for the next couple of hours, you're fine. But let's see. All right, so someone is saying that they believe there's still a warning. Just to make it very clear, no tornado warnings in the metro. Even if your area is hearing sirens right now, the thing to remember is with sirens, these are outdoor warning sirens. They're not tornado sirens. They're commonly known as tornado sirens, but these are only made to alert people outdoors of a hazard if they're outside. That's either hail, winds, or if the community thinks that they need to activate them. National Weather Service does not activate these. It's local emergency management. All right, so gonna take one more look at our Facebook chat here, just because it's awfully quiet right now. That's actually a good thing. We've been, like I said, running and gunning since 5 in the morning with nothing but nonstop tornado warnings. So I also don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing some of these comments now. Facebook has an issue where it like delays the comments or it doesn't show them until I reload it. Uh, so okay. So that community is near Watauga. So we'll take a look at that. Also looking. Okay, so for that area, let's zoom in. Try and get Watauga. So that's near North Richland Hills. So that's up in here. Okay, so Watauga, that was under a warning earlier, but right now there's no warning for Tarrant County at all in that area. Jeez, and just as I say that, there's a new tornado warning for Grapevine. So if you're in Grapevine, seek shelter now. New tornado warning. This one just re-strengthened, so we're back up and running. Okay. This one is serious. Again, all these are serious, but Grapevine police are indicating that there is a tornado actively creating damage near the Sam's Club. Yep. And there is a tornado on the ground. So, folks, tornado on the ground near DFW Airport in the Grapevine community. Confirmed tornado based off radar. And in fact, I'm going to actually switch real quick to this site, to TDAL. This is our terminal Doppler site. It is right on top of this. And you can see it right there, north of Grapevine. Quick tornado that just possibly caused damage in the Grapevine area. So this is for portions of Dallas, Tarrant. National Weather Service is saying that they are seeing this is radar indicated, but we're seeing some reports that also gotta love this. Some users on Twitter are saying we were wrong because there was no tornado warning about 10 minutes ago. There was no tornado warning. So we were providing the information that we're given per the National Weather Service. So if we're not onto something immediately, we're only human. Sorry for that. But, you know, there's only so much we can do based off of radar. We don't have live storm chasers are in the field. Giving you the latest information. There was no warning. Now there is. So we got that right now in the Metroplex. See when this is in effect until, and I tell you, if I'm in Louisville, I'd be in shelter. Same with the Hebron area. This is in effect until 9:15. Possible tornado located near the community of Grapevine. So again, if I'm in Grapevine, I'm seeking shelter right now because there is this possible tornado that caused damage. And again, these things happen just so fast that sometimes it'll look like there's absolutely nothing, and then the next scan, boom, you have this all of a sudden just tornadic signature that basically came out of nowhere. So quick tornado, possible damage near the, trying to remember where exactly the crossroads are. We've seen some tweets about it, but that doesn't mean that that's absolutely confirmed at this time. So just watching this very carefully. Putting this alert out. So we got that going on. Again, this one looks like it kind of just shot up real quick, and then it kind of just it's not as strong as it was earlier. I'd still be in shelter if I was in this area, just near Capel, Louisville, even be in shelter. But right now, it looks like if there was still a tornado, it'd be just to the northeast of Grapevine and south of Louisville. So we have all this stuff going on right now. Again, these severe thunderstorm warnings and everything like that. If you're not in a warning and your sirens are going off, please know that not every time a siren goes off, it's a tornado threat. In fact, they're not even tornado sirens. These are outdoor warning sirens, meaning that these alert people outside of a weather threat, but it doesn't mean that there is a tornado threat with every storm. So they alert people outdoors of it. We have had some reports of potential damage from this storm. As of earlier, there was no warning, and then boom, all of a sudden we had this other warning in effect for the Capel area, Grapevine. We have had some indications that there might have been a touchdown that created some sort of damage just very shortly. Unfortunately, that's just what we have to deal with some of these storms. Is they'll weaken, they look like nothing, and then all of a sudden they will quickly ramp back up really quickly. They'll probably create a quick spin up. This is usually what happens when you get a line of storms, a quick spin up. Sometimes the radar catches it just at the end of its life cycle, but currently still the potential for that tornado in some of these areas. And I do apologize for anyone who is looking on the chat. We keep having to reload the chat. It looks like Facebook's having some issues here. But someone asked about Euless. Euless, yeah, I'd give you the all clear. Damaging winds are just the only thing in that area. No tornado or anything like that. For Burleson, hold on, I'm reading something off to the side real quick. Some additional information that was just given to us, but I think that's for the severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, that's for that one. Okay, so for Burleson, that's areas to the south. We'll quickly look at that. Burleson, it looks like the main line has just passed you. You're still technically in a warning, but 60 to 65 mile per hour winds are the only threat with that. Okay, so there's that report. Damage to a commercial building in the west side of Grapevine. So we have some damage in the Grapevine community. However, there's not more information to go off of with that, so not quite sure if that's like a metal structure, like some of those warehouses that you see in those areas, or if that's a more substantially built structure. So we'll get more information on that, but there is damage nonetheless in the Grapevine area. Louisville, being shelter north of Capel, there's still that area of rotation. Wouldn't surprise me if this thing tries to recycle. So we're keeping a close eye on that. So we got this going on. Going to be looking at our chat. It does look like this rotation in the Louisville area is not as substantial as it was just a short time ago. Fortunately, it's not as tight together. Someone said it's raining sideways in Aubrey. Yeah, that it's not surprising. Eventually, that portion of the line might get some severe thunderstorm warnings just for the threat for some damaging winds, just because it's more of a squall line of storms up there now. So, fortunately for you, depending on if you're on the east or west side of Aubrey, the line of storms is almost gone from there. So, just give it another 10 to 15 minutes or so in the Aubrey area, and then the storm should be pretty well past you. As these are moving off to the east, roughly around 35 to 40 miles an hour. Still watching this tornado warning. In fact, let's actually go back down to the south into the Fort Worth and the Arlington area, check out those winds. I do think, in addition to that tornado threat, we're transitioning over to more of a damaging wind threat with this line of storms. Earlier, we were concerned because these were all basically embedded supercells. Excuse me. And when you have these embedded supercells that were in a broken line, then these storms get to be in their own environment. And that's why we had these tornado-warned storms going on for so long. But now that these are transitioning over into more of a linear complex of storms as it's turning into more of a squall line, now we're going to probably transition over to more of a damaging wind threat, which is, it's a good thing because that will eliminate these more supercell, discrete, singular cells out ahead in their own environment, with the potential for these stronger tornadoes like we've seen this morning. Now, when we say stronger, it doesn't mean, you know, the EF4s and stuff that you see on TV, documentaries and stuff like that. We won't truly know the strength of the tornado until the National Weather Service indicates that damage with their damage surveys. I do think maybe the Decatur one was closer to an EF2 based off of the shear at the surface and some of the damage that I'm seeing. Some of these might be on the stronger EF1, EF2 side this morning. Hopefully we don't have any sort of injuries. Fortunately, at this point in time, we don't see any sort of injuries from any of these storms that did cause damage. But unfortunately, we have damage reported in parts of Tarrant County, parts of Wise County, parts of Jack County, parts of Palo Pinto, Parker, even some potential damage over near the Granbury area just a short time ago from these potential tornadoes all morning. So very active, still watching that tornado that is potentially either on the ground or trying to get itself back on the ground near the Louisville area. And actually, as I say that, I still see an area of rotation near Hebron. It's not as impressive as it was just a short time ago. So keeping a very close eye on this. I'm going to reboot the chat, make sure no one has any sort of reports or anything like that. Okay, so reloaded that. Doesn't look like it's got any new updates. So just want to check to make sure, cover our bases, make sure everyone's covered, and answer everyone's questions. New. Okay, so for the viewer that was watching from the Cooper area earlier, the Storm Prediction Center, just a quick update for you. Storm Prediction Center has highlighted an area for a new tornado watch to be issued. This one will include portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and eastern North Texas. They're going to probably issue that here fairly soon. Excuse me. So going to be watching that fairly soon. New tornado watch for portions of our eastern counties where they're not included. So watching that for whenever they go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Also, head over to our Twitter if you want to see some of these photos where we're retweeting. We don't want to distribute photos that weren't sent to us because they're not ours. But on our Twitter, we're retweeting. There's a bunch of photos of these tornadoes in Tarrant County. So those are up there as well. So we've got images and videos. There's more reports of damage to the Sam's Club in Grapevine. So I'm wondering if the structure they're talking about was the Sam's Club, because every single report I'm seeing out of the Grapevine area is about this Sam's Club. Reports are indicating that there is structural damage to the Sam's Club. Everyone inside is okay, but the semis that were parked out back are pretty well destroyed. So we're seeing these reports. Some storm chasers are also saying they're seeing all of this. So we've got that going on here as well. They have shortened our tornado warning for this storm. In fact, actually, it doesn't look all too impressive. It almost looks like it's kind of broadened out So I wonder if the National Weather Service is going to go ahead and issue this as a more of a severe thunderstorm warning with the wind threat here in just a little bit, and go ahead and just drop that tornado warning here in the next little bit if this continues the current weakening trend that it's actively doing. So that's what we've got going on here. We've had this little tornado. It popped up. There's some damage in Grapevine to more of those industrial buildings or warehouses, and even a Sam's Club. Not quite sure how many buildings were damaged. Like we said, there's some structural damage to the Sam's Club in Grapevine, but right now, not quite sure. If I remember correctly, if that's the Sam's Club I'm thinking about, there's a Baylor hospital across the street. And even trying to remember, I think it's over by that Academy and Best Buy. I can't remember what intersection that is, but we'll have to see if any of those other businesses down in that area reported any sort of damage as well. So this storm currently tornado warned still, but fortunately it looks like it's in a weakening trend. We're keeping a very close eye on this just because all morning we've seen this where storms look like they're dying off, and then all of a sudden they quickly respin back up. Some of these have been longer track, and when we say that, we're not talking, significant wedge tornadoes or anything like that. They've been longer track, as in they've been discrete, they've been by themselves in their own environment and just kept going. But fortunately, now that this is more of a line of storms, this might indicate that this is going to transition over to more of a damaging wind threat and less of a supercell threat in the immediate metroplex. Now, unfortunately for areas to the east, now that we have this line of storms, now we're going to have to start watching these discrete cells here in the next little bit into the midday hours, that these could eventually become supercells themselves. So, Eastern County is where this threat is going to transition over to. In fact, we do have that new tornado watch that was just issued for our western counties. So we've got that. So I mentioned that they were going to go ahead and issue that. It's going to take a second to plot on this map, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the other one here and just see who all was included. So we'll get to that here in just a second. So far, new Tornado Watch 582. It's not loaded yet into the Storm Prediction Center's website for a glance. So we'll get you that information as soon as possible. Fortunately, it looks like Wayne, Oklahoma was hit by a pretty strong tornado this morning. So it's not just us dealing with tornadoes this morning. Unfortunately, it's other communities as well. Up in Oklahoma, that is. All right, so we're taking just a quick second to kind of catch our thoughts here. It's been a long morning here. We've been doing this since, like we said, 4 or 5 in the morning. Can't really remember if we've had a broadcast earlier this morning. Now we continue to see these storms in the Metroplex. Still seeing some signs of damage at times through some of these, but fortunately, more of these embedded supercells have merged with the line. So we're not seeing these, discrete cells in the Metroplex. But unfortunately, for areas to the east, that's when that's going to be, a different story. We're talking the further east you go, the more we're going to be watching for these prefrontal cells that will kind of pose the same threat as the ones that we've seen further to the west. The system is just so impressive. The wind profiles are just so impressive that anything that kind of forms discreetly ahead of this, the further east you go, is probably going to create some type of a tornadic threat and hazard potentially over the next couple of hours. So we're going to see that tornado watch here in just a little bit plot up there. In fact, it's still not on the Storm Prediction Center's website, which is curious. So In fact, it's kind of weird. It's not okay. So it just popped up on our other thing. So all of our eastern counties are now in a tornado watch. That is until 5 o'clock tonight. So if you are in our eastern coverage area, in fact, I'm gonna actually switch this over real quick back to our second radar source and show you. This is the new tornado watch in effect until 5 o'clock tonight. 70-mile-per-hour winds are one of the threats, in addition to tornadoes and hail up to almost 2 inches in diameter, so 1.5. Any discrete cell, basically, in this area, if I can get it, there we go. We're going to be watching ahead of this line of storms in basically this area over the next couple of hours. If we get any sort of prefrontal cells, kind of like what we're seeing over in this area, that would be the new areas to watch for these more discrete tornadic threats this morning. So we're going to be watching that very carefully this morning. We've had tornado warnings all morning from this. So we're going to be watching the threat with these discrete cells. And then in addition to that, the line of storms is going to pose a damaging wind threat as these move through. So actually, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. We're going to do a manual track real quick on these storms as they move east, northeast at around, let's say, we'll do a little bit faster, 49 miles an hour. So right now, Sherman 913 for your storms to the north, Richardson basically in the next 3 minutes. Same with Allen, McKinney, Garland at 9:21, Rowlett at 9:30 almost, 9:26, and then Greenville at around 9:50 this morning. So that's a look at our latest time of arrival with these storms. Let's go ahead and remove that manual track and show you. We'll take one more look. I think that the tornado warning, I do believe that the tornado warning for this should be allowed to expire here pretty quickly, as there's really no signature within this that looks too concerning. And I do believe that the warning went until 9:15, so it was about to expire anyway. So I think pretty clear if you're in Louisville, Carrollton, Hebron. The next area is going to be up here in the Colony. So unfortunately, new tornado warning, and as I said, this threat's going to continue to move to the east. New tornado warning is now in effect for the Frisco area. Let's actually live over the regional radar since that one's having some issues again. I apologize for that. In fact, it hasn't even plotted on this one yet. This one is until 9:45. So we have a new tornado warning for Allen, McKinney, Frisco, Princeton, these communities right here until 9:45. So, and I think this is only for Collin County, so it's only just in this little county area. So we're gonna put this on our app real quick. So there's that. That alert is sent out. We'll do this. So National Weather Service is saying that the tornadic signature is evident with this one. So let's actually look at that. We're also looking off to the side at some other stuff. See if there's any photos of this one. There's a handful of chasers out on this storm in particular, so trying to see if any of them were actually seeing anything. So if you're just now tuning in, tornado warning, parts of Collin County, the communities of Frisco, Allen, Princeton, and McKinney. Not quite Melissa. Fairview, Lowry Crossing. We'll zoom in and get a few more of these little communities in here that are in this warning. There is a fairly good signature still just crossing the county line. It's just to the south of Frisco. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking shelter in this area, because these things have had a history all morning where they don't look like anything of importance. They don't look like anything too alarming. And then you get one or two scans later, all of a sudden, boom, these things come back. And they come back fairly quickly and pretty strong. We've already seen some damage throughout the morning with this, so we're watching these storms very carefully. I'm actually sharing to my Twitter real quick just to let people know. All right, so we put that on our Twitter. So we got this storm right now. Again, doesn't look too impressive at the moment, but like we said, and we've been saying this all morning, don't let your guard down with any of these. As soon as a warning's issued for your area, you need to be treating it as if it was a tornado on the ground. Because, like I said, these things have gone all morning they look fairly ominous, but not like anything too concerning. And then all of a sudden you get one scan later, two scan laters, all of a sudden these things fire back up and are pretty strong really quickly. So we've had this issue all morning with these. Still watching. Basically, that rotation is just south of Frisco still at this moment in time. So watching this, basically, if you're in Frisco, Allen, Fairview, let's see if we can pick up some of those smaller communities. Lowry Crossing, Princeton, New Hope, McKinney. I'd be in shelter right now just to be completely safe from this storm. And just to show anyone who's new to the area, if you're wondering where exactly I'm talking about, if this is not quite your area, it is to the north of Dallas. It's in the community of Frisco. And if you're new to the area and you're not quite sure where that is, think of where the Star is located. That's the community of Frisco, the giant IKEA Stonebriar Mall, that new skydiving place outside of Stonebriar, Frisco Rough Riders Ballpark, stuff like that. That's the community of Frisco. That's portions of Collin County. So we're watching this one, which is in that area roughly. And again, it's weaker now, but we cannot let our guards down. These things, like I said, all morning, they'll look like nothing, and all of a sudden you get a quick spin up. So you got to be watching these very carefully. Make sure that you're seeking shelter lowest. Make sure that you're in the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. That's an interior closet or bathroom. So make sure that you are in those shelter areas. Cover yourself with pillows, blankets. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and just ride up the storm. Don't go outside trying to look at this thing. Don't try and get pictures of this thing. Just ride up the storm, and then you can take pictures after the storm has passed, just for your safety. So got this going on. Let's go back to reflectivity. And that rotation is just to the southeast, of Frisco at this time. So we're going to be looking real quick at our Facebook chat just to see if anyone has any sort of reports or any sort of comments, concerns, or anything like that real quick. Fortunately, as of now, it doesn't look like we don't have any sort of reports, so that's some good news there. We're going to go over to our YouTube and see if there's any there. We'll try and check up on that Twitter. but that's a little bit harder for us to check during these broadcasts. So we've got this going on. And I thank you for tuning in with us here this morning. I apologize if we've been all over the place. It has been a very busy morning here in the North Texas Storm Studios. We've got a lot going on. We've had several damaging tornadoes this morning, unfortunately. And we say that because while many are weather enthusiasts and stuff like that, we never like seeing any sort of damage being done to people's homes, people's lives. Unfortunately, we've seen some damage this morning from some of these storms. So we're sticking to these. We're keeping up to these storms with you. We're letting you know the latest information. And we're going to continue to watch these as they make their way out of our coverage area over the next couple of hours. So let's check back up on this storm real quick. This one just caught my eye. Maybe some stronger winds. It's still close to the area that we call the cone of silence, so it's got kind of a bad reading. In fact, that actually might be side lobe contamination. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably not rotation, just because it's a sloppy signature. So we're in 4-panel mode, and what that means is we're just looking at all these ingredients at the same time just to kind of compare. All right, so we have this storm to the south, strong winds, I'm guessing between 65 miles per hour, 60 to 65, and even 1-inch hail is possible with this southern storm near Duncanville and DeSoto. We'll have to watch that for potential rotation since it's still in the broken portions of this line of storms. And then our only tornado warning at this time is this one near Allen. Let's check our velocities real quick and just see what's going on. In fact, actually, this area just near Richardson and Saxe is showing some brighter colors with the winds right now. So we'll keep an eye on that too. That might be some 65 mile per hour winds. That might also be some elevated rotation trying to kind of get its act together. Doesn't look too impressive, but it wouldn't surprise me. Right now, some 60 mile per hour winds, maybe 65 at times, is near the Plano and Murphy area at this time. Still watching that area of rotation to the north. It's not as impressive as it was just a little bit ago. But still strong winds in that area. Still keeping a very close eye on it. We'll let you know if anything changes with that. So zooming out, we'll give you the overall broad view. Okay, Cook County. All right, so unfortunately that storm that was in the Gainesville area earlier, if you were tuning in, we said we thought that one might be on the ground given the strong signature that far out. Damage to several homes and trees northeast of FM 371 and County Road 122, time estimated, line aligned with the radar. So damage up in Cook County. Unfortunately, we're just seeing damage kind of all over the place this morning from these storms. As we started off with tornado warnings pretty much everywhere along our western counties. So unfortunately, damage in Cook County this morning. We saw damage in Wise County this morning. We've seen all sorts of issues from these storms, unfortunately. So not a good thing. We don't like when weather impacts people's lives here in the North Texas metro area. We've seen damage in portions in 2 areas, actually, in Tarrant County this morning. One near Grapevine, and the other location was over down near Lake Worth earlier this morning when we had a debris signature there. So a lot going on. Let's zoom back in. And we're not done yet. In fact, if you're just now tuning in, we still have this tornado watch for our eastern counties, which pretty much end right where my mouse cursor is until 5 o'clock tonight. So that does include Cooper. For that viewer that was asking earlier about the community of Cooper, you're now in a tornado watch until 5 o'clock. This line's going to be making its way further to that area over the next 2 hours or so. And then we're also watching these discrete cells that'll pop up, prefrontal cells, if you will, ahead of the line of storm. So also taking a quick look at these little areas here, the storms were forming more of a line, but now they're almost breaking back up. It's like they can't stay into a solid line of storms. So we're watching an area of rotation over Allen. We're watching a possible area of rotation in southern Dallas County trying to get its act together, but there's a weird radar representation down there. I think that might be side lobe contamination, and what that is side lobe contamination is when the radar beam shoots out, it gets a return, but the side lobes of the radar pick up ground clutter. It makes a bad signature, so it looks like something's ahead of the main area of the storm, and then it creates some confusion with some of our tools, like our meso icons and stuff like that. It picks up as a false rotation reading. So we're watching that. That's this pink area that you see that looks kind of like a pixeled mess. So we're watching that. Let's go back up to this one in Fairview. Still near Allen and Fairview, there's still some stronger winds. It wouldn't surprise me if this is still trying to kind of hold together and potentially reorganize. So we're keeping a very close eye on this. Again, tornado warning, it's continuing until roughly 9:45. So we got another 20 minutes with this. Heads up to Fairview, McKinney, New Hope, Princeton, Lowry Crossing, and Allen. These communities are down the barrel of the storm, unfortunately. So unfortunately, we're going to have to be watching this over the next 20 minutes or so. Fortunately, though, for our communities to the west, south of Frisco, Colony, stuff like that, you're in the clear of this tornado warning. But basically, if you're in Fairview, Allen, McKinney, Lowry Crossing, Princeton, you are still in the path of this storm. So monitoring this very carefully over the next little bit. Going to zoom out, show you the broad view one more time. Again, we've just been running and gunning all morning. It's been a very busy morning here in the storm studio. So other than the severe weather, we hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. Unfortunately, some areas have seen some damage. We're going to get you the latest reports on that, so stay tuned for the latest. But like we said, unfortunately, we've seen some damage this morning, and we hate seeing that when storms impact people's lives like that. So we're going to keep up the latest information with stuff like that. Also, thank you for tuning in. Make sure that if you haven't already, you download our free Weather 225 mobile app. That is on the Apple App Store. That is on Google Play. We're also on Amazon Fire TV. You can watch us streaming there on our YouTube, anything like that. The only reason we're saying this is because we're so active with the live streaming. It's just me running everything, the app and everything. We can't post everything to social media, so all of our alerts are being diverted to the app. Receive those alerts. You can watch our live streaming coverage, and we have live interactive radar for people to use there too. So check that out for free today. We don't require you give us any information or anything like that. It's just there's no strings attached. Just download the app, and you get access to all those tools. So, all right, tornado warning continues for this storm. It was located near McKinney, moving northeast at around 40 miles an hour. So still seeing that tornado trying to get its act together in that area. And the reason I'm still south of here is this one is still looking ominous to the south near DeSoto. It's looking more like a supercell in its nature. No immediate threat for a tornado with that one quite yet. It has an ominous look to it, so we're going to be continuing to watch it. But right now, the only tornado warning we have in our area right now is moving into McKinney. And I tell you what, if I'm in downtown McKinney, if I'm in Fairview, if I'm in western Princeton, if I'm in southern Melissa, I'm in my shelter right now because this is a dangerous storm that has had a history of producing potential spin-up tornadoes with it. So we're watching this carefully. We want you to be in shelter until the storm has passed. There's no confirmation at this point in time that there is a tornado, but it's good to go ahead and just take extra precaution, especially on a day like today. We've had several tornadoes that between radar scans quickly came up, and then the next radar scan we had that signature. So we're watching that very carefully with these storms. So let's zoom out one more time. Let's actually put it into motion and show you over the last couple of hours several tornado warnings within the area. basically 2 confirmed tornadoes occurred over portions of Tarrant County this morning. So a lot going on. We still have this one. Still watching that more ominous looking storm in southern Dallas County. Also for our neighbors to the east, we're watching these discrete showers and elevated thunderstorms. No severe weather risk with any of those right now. We're still keeping an eye on that. Basically to the west, if this line of storms has passed you, your severe weather risk is pretty much over for today. There could be a few isolated showers that are still lingering behind this line of storms over the next couple of hours, but the main severe weather risk is with this line and areas to the east of this line. So we're watching this all very carefully. So let's zoom back in one more time into the McKinney area. And like we said, we're keeping a very close eye on this just because all morning we've had these storms. They quickly pulsate up, they produce damage real quick, and then they kind of just die off. They'll come up very quickly, and we have to just take a word of caution with this and be extra careful, and just make sure we're covering all of our bases, letting you know what to expect, making sure that you're prepared and weather aware as well. So that's what we've got going on here. So let me look off to our other radar program real quick and see. We're going to look at a wind shear tool real quick and look at and inspect this one up to the north. I think this one might be transitioning, fortunately, to more of a damaging wind threat than a tornado threat right now, as there's more gusty winds on the leading edge of the storm than there are rotating winds on the back. There's still a little bit of rotation with it. Obviously, we still have this warning in effect, but take into consideration, it's not as strong as it was just a little bit ago. We're not letting our guard down. We're not leaving this storm quite yet, but okay, new report. North Richland Hills Fire Department is on the scene of a building with damage. It is a commercial building north of North Richland Hills. A 59 mile per or 58.7 mile per hour wind gust was reported at Dallas Redbird Airport. So that's at severe levels right there. So that's that storm down to the south. So we've got all this going on. Still getting damage reports, unfortunately, for those communities just to the south, or just to the west, and some to the south of the area from storms earlier this morning. All right, so, and there's a new scan, and like I said, these things, this one's looking like it's getting a little bit more impressive than it was just the last scan. And like I said, these things continue to do this trend where they kind of weaken just a little bit and then they quickly pulsate back up. So we're going to stick on this one for the next little bit, because this one might be trying one more shot at doing something, as it's south of the Melissa area, north of McKinney. Basically, Allen is in pretty much the clear right now. But north of McKinney, north of Fairview, Lowry Crossing, that's where this rotation is located at this point in time. So we've got that going on here. Let's actually check real quick one of our tools. Yeah, unfortunately at this time, not seeing any sort of debris signature with that. So that's some good news there. All right, so now that this one is a little bit calmer, let's go back down and check on these storms to the south. Again, damaging winds likely across portions of Dallas County. We've seen some reports of up to 60 mile per hour winds. We've seen reports of 1-inch hail with this as well. Looking at the velocities, there's still this weird little signature. Can't tell if that is what we call side lobe contamination or excuse me, words are all over the place this morning. Abnormality or whatever. I apologize, can't speak right now. So we got that going on. Still gusty winds in that area. Oh wow! So we've got, check out on our Twitter. Someone sent DFW Scanner. That's another local page down here. A picture of basically the roof caved in on portions of the Sam's Club in Grapevine. Someone also had a photo of a fairly sizable tornado that went through northwestern Tarrant County this morning. So we're posting all of these photos. There's some flipped vehicles in North Richland Hills, seeing damage from the Decatur storm this morning. Still a lot going on. Still a lot of reports to be basically filed in from this morning. So keeping a very close eye on this. Additional severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect too. New scan just came in. We'll have to look at this. Still looks like that rotation is trying to hang on to the north. So I'm curious to see if the Weather Service goes ahead and issues a new warning here for that system, or for that storm that is just over and to the northeast of McKinney. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning in that area. That is for small hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Still keeping an eye on this potential developing tornado in that area. National Weather Service saying there's a video showing a tornado crossing State Highway 114 near the hospital. So if you're on with us earlier, I said that Sam's Club is located near, I believe that's a Baylor hospital. And you can actually see in the video across the road there near 114 west-northwest of Grapevine. So there's video of that apparently. We also have a report of a 62-mile-per-hour wind reported at Dallas Redbird Airport just a short time ago. Roof damage to commercial building, North Richland Hills. So we're getting a bunch of these reports still filing in this morning. It's been a crazy morning here in the storm studio, so we've got a lot of this going on. Still seeing a lot of damage from that storm in Oklahoma too. Oh wow. Okay, so I found the video of the tornado crossing the street. If you don't follow us on Twitter, make sure you check that out for that. Just retweeted it. So we got that there. All right, so curious to see what the Weather Service does real quick, just because this tornado warning, the actual rotation itself is about to basically move outside of the initial warning. So we've got that to see if they extend it or if they go ahead and drop it, and it's just going to be something we're going to be watching. So we're keeping a close eye on that. Thank you regardless for tuning in. It's been a busy morning. Hope that you are all having a great morning. Our thoughts and prayers are out for those who have been affected by these storms this morning. So we're going to continue with those updates like we said. Just keep anyone who was affected by the tornadoes this morning in your thoughts and prayers. Like we said, there was some potentially significant damage up in the Decatur area. We'll let you know. We're also retweeting any sort of reports and stuff. If your area has damage and the storms have passed you and you can safely do so, if you would like to share photos with us, tag us in those. Make sure that you send your videos, your photos to us, and we will pass those along to the National Weather Service, and we'll relay that information to them. So as this moves on, I am now a little bit more concerned with this storm near Melissa. There's no additional tornado warning as of yet that they have issued for these areas in northern Collin County, but the rotation looks like it's trying to get back up its traction and get going again. So Melissa, I'd be in shelter. There's no warning for Blue Ridge, Westminster, and Melissa, but if I'm in Melissa, I'd be taking shelter right now. Same with Blue Ridge. Again, strong rotation in this area. It looks like it's coming back up in strength. So this could be trying to spin back up and strengthen rather quickly. So I'm going to switch through a bunch of these products. I apologize if we're all over the place. We're looking at these. This is your early heads up. Melissa, Blue Ridge, there's no warning right now, but I do see this as a fairly strong area of rotation, kind of coming back up quickly. They dropped the warning. So they expired that one. I'm curious what they're going to do with this, because this still looks like a fairly strong area of rotation. If they're going to go ahead and reissue another one, not quite sure, but we're gonna stay with this. Correction: the previous tornado report. Grapevine. Okay, so they just updated the location of where they saw that video, where that video was located in the chat. So right now we have, again, this storm. There's no warning for it, but this is your early heads up for Melissa. If you're north of Princeton, if you're west of Blue Ridge, and if you are in Blue Ridge, still seeing a strong area of rotation. This storm might be trying to get its act back together rather fast. So, not trying to hype this up, but this morning it's just one of those things. This morning we've seen storms go from zeros to all of a sudden they're going to 100 very fast. So we're watching this storm, and we just want to give you the earliest heads up possible, so you are aware of. So you're aware of this. So looking off to some reports on the side here, still scrolling through our Twitter looking to see if there's any sort of additional confirmations or anything like that. All right, so this morning has been quite busy. We'll take a look at your chats now that it's a little bit quieter, but we're not going to leave from this quite yet, just because we're still seeing that strong rotation. Kind of surprised there's no additional tornado warning for this as of yet, because that's still a fairly strong area of rotation. Alright, so we'll go ahead and look at the chats real quick. Alright, looks like we don't have anything in the chats, so check those. Now we're just going to continue to look at some of these other reports. Again, no tornado warning, and in fact, right now, it looks like, fortunately, that area of rotation we're monitoring looks to be going down just a little bit, but we want to stay with it just because, given this warning and everything that has happened, there's a lot that has occurred. We just want to make sure that we're covering all of our bases and giving you as much early heads up as possible. So, actually, real quick, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We will break back into coverage if anything happens, but we've been on the air for a couple of hours now. We got to check on some things. We'll be right back if anything changes with that. So we're going to throw it back in a live loop for our Facebook viewers. Check back. We will put out another live stream just because Facebook does not like our music or anything like that, and they usually delete our streams even though we have the rights to use the music. Long story short, stay tuned. We will create another broadcast here in a little bit if needed. So check back.